We're right at the beginning of this module, and this little link will actually take you outside of the module to what's called a Google form. And within the Google form, you'll have a series of YouTube lectures, just like this one. And from the information in those lectures, you'll be able to interactively answer some questions. And what that does is give you immediate feedback and allows you to bring across evidence of that knowledge. So yeah, it's a far quicker way for you to get some feedback on some answers. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm working in Windows 8 and mine's a bit stuck, I'm just going to highlight that first. So I've left clicked my mouse, dragged that across. Now I'm going to hit my control key and click my left mouse here. That's taking me to a Google form. Okay, that's what it'll look like, and all you have to do is answer in the boxes here your first name, your last name. So my first name is Cheryl and my surname is Hall. People would call me Mrs. Hall, so that's my surname, or my last name, and I'd place it in there. This one I've just created a sample as Irks McGuirk. Then you'd place in your email address. Now that's an email address that you're working with right now, and you'll be able to receive immediate feedback to that email address. So make sure you've typed that in correctly. After January the 1st, 2015, all students will be issued with a unique learner identifier number. So if you have one of those, you can enter that in now. You'll notice that these other areas here have asterisks, little red asterisks or stars. That means it's a required field, whereas you can see this one hasn't been marked with an asterisk. But after January 2015, it will have an asterisk. Here we go. Here's the beginning of our YouTube lectures. So you just simply click on those, and you can see that that goes for about a minute there. You would click on to the next one. That's about nearly 3 minutes. That provides a lot of information. We're ready now with that information we've just learnt to answer some questions. And you can see that there's some square boxes and some circle boxes. So any of the circles means that it's a multiple choice, and you would just simply select one and move on. Now I've just randomly selected the answer. Here with the check boxes, you can see that this is saying, this is guiding you, so you would need to select exactly 2 options. So I'm just randomly selecting any 2. 2 would be correct there. Not suggesting these 2 are the correct ones though, but that's how you would be guided, you know, that you haven't completed enough information there. And once you have, it allows you to move on. Here's a multiple choice, not saying that's correct at all. You just have to select which one you think. And then you have another YouTube lecture. Again, your checkpoints or your multiple choices. More lectures, more checkpoints. When you get to the end, you can see that, you know, that you've completed it there. You would hit submit. Now when we do that, and if you haven't completed it, you would need to actually come back, and I'm just randomly selecting anything there. Anything we haven't done that's requiring. But make sure you get it right, because otherwise you're actually going to have to resubmit the whole lot of this. By having the YouTube so close to the questions, you really should be right. So once all of those have been selected, we'll try again to hit submit. Okay, now you don't want to come out of this area. You just need to leave that open again. Okay, just you may have to come back to that. So what we'll do now is we can go to our email address and we'll get some immediate feedback on that. You can see here feedback on questionnaire. We've just selected that now. And because I randomly did it, unfortunately some responses are incorrect. Refer to the comments and resubmit. So I can actually just, if I'd have been keeping an idea of all of my responses on a bit of paper, I'd know I'd have to just go back and correct number 1, number 2, number 5 is incorrect. I'd have to go back and answer that. Unfortunately though, we will need you to resubmit and attend to all of them again. Okay, so if you, as you were filling it out, made track of what your answers are, that gives you a chance to at least go back and quickly select those ones again. All right, so we weren't successful. We will have to go back and take that quiz again. So what we'll do is go back to our module, and you will have to just resubmit that whole thing again. So I've just created a version of that where all of the answers are correct. So I can actually show you how you go back into your email and print screen that and paste that back into your module as evidence that you've answered all of those questions correctly, because we do need evidence of your knowledge. So we'll just submit that. We'll go back to your email address then that you entered in the top. And it may just take a moment, but let's go in and have a look. It looks like we were successful that time. You've satisfactorily demonstrated knowledge, so we'll just open that up. Okay, so what we need to do is print screen that. Okay, so there's a couple of ways we can do it. We might just hit the function bar. Now to print screen that, we just hit the function key and print screen. And that will automatically capture that information. Next, what we have to do is return back to the module, which should still be open. So if you're using Windows 8, you just hit the Windows key. If you're using Windows 7, you'll actually be able to see all of the icons just down here to go back into it. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is just put my cursor underneath and hit Control V, and that will paste it beautifully in there, and that means your assessor will be able to confirm that you've answered, I think it was about 14 questions or so. He'll actually be able to, or she will be able to come in and complete that. This is just for office use, okay? So anything here on the right-hand side is for the assessor, whether you've completed the task satisfactorily or not yet satisfactorily.